This episode of The Edge is brought to you by Audible.com, offering more than 180,000 titles for smartphone, tablet, and desktop. To get a free audiobook of your choice and help Trek.fm at the same time, visit audibletrial.com/trekfm. And also by Enterprise in Space, an international program of the nonprofit National Space Society. Find out how you can help science and education and become a virtual crew member aboard the NSS Enterprise Orbiter by visiting enterpriseinspace.org. And if you want to join the conversation and share your thoughts on this episode, join the Babel Conference, our listeners group on Facebook. Just type BABEL into the Facebook search field. We look forward to seeing you there.
You're listening to Trek FM.
What have you done out there on the edge of Federation space?
Click OK. It's like, just start.
Hey, we're here, live from the Edge. I'm so freaking excited because it's Friday night, and that means that I get to spend my evening at home. Well, afterwards I could go out, but in the meantime, I'm going to live it on the live from the Edge. I'm Bruce Gibson. Thank you for joining us. We're here to talk about Star Trek Discovery, episode 12 of season 2. And with me is Brandi Jackola. How you doing? Or Jackola. Wait, no, this week I was going to call you Jackola. Brandi Jackola. No, Yandy Jackola. That's it.
I answer to all of the above. Yeah, hi.
How you doing?
I am fine.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
okay.
It's fine.
All right, well, let's go to the next thing. Hi, you're listening to Literary Treks, Trek FM's official Star Trek books and comics podcast, and with me, like he always is the mighty Dan Gunther. Dan, how you doing?
Hey, not too bad. We're starting out taking shots early here.
I'm just so used to saying those words, though, before I introduce you, so that's why I did it that way.
Awesome. Well, happy to be on again, because I love you guys, and I love doing this show, so yay.
And we love having
you. We love you, Dan.
Exactly.
Aww.
Hugs.
And no, Christopher D. Littlefield, I am not high. I am extremely tired.
Why does he think you're high?
I don't know.
He asked if you were high first, Bruce, just for the record.
Oh, so. Well, yes. I'm high on Discovery is what I am. So in the meantime, so I can't see the chat yet because I'm just now going in there and it's taken a while to open. Oh, there it is. Hey, there are people there. Hello, people. So how are you? Wave back in a chat kind of way, right? No, we can't do that. That doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, and I can see myself. It's delayed. It's weird. Oh my gosh, I am so handsome.
You are. You're ruggedly handsome.
I'm such a liar. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Through the Valley of Shadows. So, Dan, I'm going to just go out there right now. I'm going to give you a long pass. So, what you think? What'd you think?
Oh man. I know I say this just about every episode that comes along, but this was an excellent episode. I think actually better than the last couple, which I did enjoy, but, dipped a little bit in certain areas for me. This one, I mean, they just hit on all cylinders for me. We had some great interaction between Spock and Burnham, some good stuff there. Amazing stuff with Pike that I'm sure we're going to talk about because I think that probably wrecked a lot of people out there. And we got to see a Klingon D7. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, what'd you think of that? I've heard some good constructive criticism of that. I've heard some good things about it, but about the nacelles, I've heard some mixed reactions.
Yeah, I mean, it looks slightly different than the D7s we're used to. That's artistic license. They were able to do that. If you really need an explanation to set it right in your head, this is the prototype. This is the first one. Not all of them look exactly alike. So, this is the first one off the assembly line. It's kind of the proto-Kronos 1, I guess, because it's the ship of state. Maybe it just looks different from how the D7s are going to look from here on out.
The way I look at this is nothing looks exactly alike. Our Spock does not look like the original Spock exactly, and our Pike doesn't look exactly like original, and like so on and so on and so on and so forth. Right, Brandi?
Right. And it's called creative license. You can't make everything look the way an original did, because there's only one original. The best you can do is interpret it for a new audience, which is what has been done.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to get into more of that a little later. So Brandi, did you like this episode? How did it fit for you compared to the others? Ooh, I don't know what that means.
That means it was
Okay, here, let me translate for you. She said
Maybe you just have to ask her yes or no questions, and she can beep once for yes and twice for no.
Brandi, did you like this episode better than last week's?
That's hard to say because I'm not a person who picks favorites, but I liked the episode very, very much.
Okay, well that's good.
Yes, it is good. It's difficult for me to talk about without talking about the thing that we're going to talk about later.
Oh,
the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I was going to say the elephant, but I knew Dan would do it for me. So,
see, I didn't see an elephant in that episode.
It's hyperbole, okay?
I bring the cliches. What can I say?
It's expected.
All right, I'm gonna call out the elephant in the room right now. Kenneth Mitchell.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Dude, deliver.
What is up with this guy? It's like he's every Klingon now in the series. Mm-hmm. I was like cracking up. I'm like, no, that can't be him. I didn't even have to look it up. I just knew that's Kenneth Mitchell. This guy, he's like the coolest person to me right now, because here's a guy that gets on a show called Discovery, and he's like, oh, I made it. Oh, they cut off my character. Oh, they brought me back as another character and cut off my character. I mean, he just keep bringing him back. Like, he's got a good gig going here.
Yeah, it was amazing to see him. I actually, I had heard that he was going to be in this episode, and when he showed up, I was actually like, are we going to see another Klingon, or is this actually him? Like, he seemed so different from his other characters. But I mean, when he showed up earlier in the season in episode 3, I was like, oh, great, we have him as Colshaw. We've got Kenneth Mitchell back. It's going to be, oh no, okay, he's dead. So to have him back in yet another character is just such a treat. That was really cool.
I just thought it was cool. But then, I feel like it's going to be a game from now on, that every time I see a Klingon, it's going to be like, is it Kenneth Mitchell or is it not?
Here's a funny thing that you may not know. Besides the fact that he's been in what feels like every television series ever in at least one guest shot, he also had a bit part in Captain Marvel.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
He was.
He was in the flashbacks. He was Carol's father.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
All the memories of her father. And Bruce is stunned.
Not in Klingon makeup for once.
Uh-oh.
So that might be why you didn't
Not
recognize him.
Oh no, we have lost Bruce. We have lost Bruce. No. Emergency, red alert.
Oh dear.
We have lost Bruce. He's back.
That is so weird. I got disconnected. Right when you said, in Captain Marvel, he was the... And I was like,
you're not allowed to know this information.
But I saw the movie. I just don't remember.
You'll have to listen
that.
to the podcast to find out.
Okay, I will, as a matter of fact.
I just thought he was so shocked because your image was just stuck there like...
We were just like, are you okay?
Was I frozen?
We stunned him. Yes. We're like, we've stunned Bruce. What do we do?
Did I have a good expression on my face at least?
Just like mild surprise.
It was it was very like you were literally pondering what?
Yeah, it's like William Jackson says in the chat. I mean, I'm finding control here. It's trying to take over.
There you go. Yep.
So yeah, Amy's saying Section 31 is out to get me. It's absolutely true.
Wait, did Control actually take over? Are you really Bruce? Because apparently Section 31 can just totally take over anybody now.
I don't want to say. I just think that what Control's trying to do is probably a good thing. So.
Oh, no. Brandi, we're going to have to shoot him.
I don't think phasers are going to work. Does anyone have plasma rifles?
You won't get to them in time because I'll be there in like 0.8 seconds.
Well, they do have ferromagnetic materials in them, so just need a big magnet. We'll be good.
Yep. Let's get him to an old used car. No, not the car. An old lot where they crush cars. They've always got big magnets there.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, that can work.
That's great. Big magnets. Never thought we'd talk about that. Do you mind? I'm going to put some lip balm on.
No, do it slower.
I don't have time. Hey, so Kennevic is the name of the baby of Laurel and Volk, who is grown up. Because he's a Time Lord. Well, he's not a Time Lord, but you can almost think he's one.
I want to see that show now. That would be cool.
He's a timekeeper played by Kenneth Mitchell, of course. By the way, I'm starting to think now the Red Angel really is Kenneth Mitchell because he's like every other character. He really should be the Red Angel. Didn't he play Burnham's mom? I mean, he plays every other character.
Oh, yeah, let's get a white guy in there to play the mom of the person of color.
I didn't know he was white.
Thanks.
He's always in makeup. I can't tell. No, I've met him, so no big deal. Okay, so what do you think of Kennevic, son of Nun?
I thought
he was intense. No, go ahead.
No, there's
Dan,
no apologies
please.
on the show.
I was going to say, he was a really cool character. I think when I was really I really like this guy is immediately after the scene that we're going to talk about, where, he hands the crystal to Pike and says, "I honor you, Captain Pike." And I was just like, this guy's really cool. He is not, I'm going to put it out there now. He is not going to become the albino of Deep Space Nine that kills the firstborn sons of those 3 Klingons, because this guy's really cool. I mean, he's not going to engineer a virus to kill kids.
Because I can't imagine he's leaving Borith and all that stuff and leaving the monastery, right? So he couldn't be the albino. It would just be weird.
I'm officially distancing myself from that theory, which I totally bought into before. I'm like, no, not the guy.
No, but Amy's asking, what's the deal with him growing super fast to maturity and then stopping? I just figure it was him at a point in time.
Yeah.
You almost could go back to there and see him again and he could be 13.
Exactly. That's kind of how I took it, is because he says something like time doesn't flow the same way here or something like that. So it just happens to be when Pike beamed down is the point in his life that Pike needed to meet him at, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I am high.
No, it was...
I don't even know what you're saying. You've been slurring the whole time. What do you think, Brandi?
Well, it's, honestly, it's all a bit of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff, because there's so much Time Lord stuff in here, guys. There just
I saw
really
the TARDIS
is.
in the background.
Now,
one of the Klingons got on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Klingons found a TARDIS. Oh, ooh, wow. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
So, they were messing around with time travel. That's how the whole stealing of the time crystal.
I just think it's scary that Klingons have time crystals. That they're just hanging around. But
that's the thing. They're not supposed to leave the monastery. Tenevik said that, they don't leave these halls. They don't leave this place. And so for anyone to get one, they had to have gotten it through very nefarious means, is the implication, I think. But yeah, it's one of those things where time is not a straight line.
No.
Because it does go back to the best explanation of it's a ball of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yeah. Because he mentions about the ball, he says past, present, and future are all equal. So if they're all equal, that means they're all the same.
Yeah, well, which is what the prophets in Deep Space Nine were like. Time existed all at once for them. They had no concept of past and present.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, it's not like that's an alien concept to Star Trek. Or it is an alien concept because it was aliens that were, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's not as if we haven't heard that sort of thing before. And because we are limited corporeal beings that only have a perception in linear increments, we see time as a straight line, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say in the monastery, would you say it was almost like the wormhole on Deep Space Nine, that you're not really in any certain period of time? It's kind of its own bubble? Or do you think it was real time? It's just the people down there are kind of in and out of time.
I would say the latter. I would say that it exists in real time, but the people within, especially when they're interacting with the time crystals, time is no longer a constant.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's definitely the latter. The people who interact with the time crystals kind of experience this weird wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. Well, I think even the monastery itself, because other Klingons visit there for other reasons, as we learn in the Next Generation, they probably don't have any interaction with the time crystals or anything like that at all. And they just come there, to worship Kahless and that kind of thing. And they don't even know that this is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that door to the cavern where the time crystals are, cavern, hall, cathedral, whatever you want to call it, is locked, and it seems like Tenevic's the only one who has the key. So, yeah, it's not like anyone's just going to walk in there unannounced and go, oh, wow, time crystals. So, yeah, I'm sure they're extremely protective of that, and most people don't even know they're there.
So I'm going to try to blow your mind. So think of this. When he was a baby, he had no name. He was delivered to the monastery. Was Tenevic already there when the baby arrived?
Yes and no.
Exactly.
Good answer.
That's the only answer.
Mm-hmm.
I like that answer. I do. But the other thing is, I swear, for just a fleeting second, 0.8, I was watching this episode, and when he revealed that he was the son of Nun, I thought, oh my gosh, really? Klingons don't grow that fast. I know they grow up fast. We saw that in Alexander, but not like from a baby to an adult, an older adult within just like a couple months. Come on, people. So maybe Alexander, grew up fast because he had a time crystal or something. No, I'm just kidding. Forget all that. Did you notice the time crystals are in the opening of Discovery, the opening segment? That crystal that flows. What did you think? Did you always think that was a dilithium crystal?
That was always
I
my
never
assumption.
really thought about it. I just thought, oh, it's a crystal.
Yeah.
I didn't think a specific kind of crystal because I didn't know.
It makes me wonder if they had this episode in mind for a long time, that they were going to do something with time crystals. And that's why that's there.
Quite possibly.
Maybe.
And it's possible that the entire season could have been filmed before they altered the opening credits sequence.
Well, they were in the season 1 credits, though, as well.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's what's so weird to me. It's like they knew time. They knew the future.
I personally think they meant it to be dilithium crystals or representative of dilithium crystals. And then when it came time for them to write season 2 and have this as an ongoing plot thing, they were like, aha, we'll make the time crystals look exactly like the ones we have in the credits, and we'll look really, really clever. Maybe they had it planned from the beginning. I could be wrong. But
everybody write this down, because it doesn't happen that often, because I'm going to disagree with you. I think that before they started this show, making this series, they were writing down different ideas of things that they eventually want to do, and time crystals were one, and they probably said, yeah, let's either use that this season or next season, but yeah, let's do something with time crystals, and we'll put it in the opening.
To be fair, they did have time crystals in season 1 in the mud episode.
Magic to make the sanest man go mad.
Yeah, but did we see it?
We did. It was on his wrist. I think it was supposed to be part of a time crystal or something like that. But there was a bigger one, if I'm remembering correctly, in the ship that was inside the Gormagander that we never did see. So, maybe because so many things in the opening credits linked to something in the season, maybe those actually were supposed to be the time crystals from magic to make the sanest man go mad. So
could be. Yeah. No,
I'm kind of backtracking on my answer now.
I don't know. So am I. See, look, now we're agreeing again. All right.
They both are and are not the time crystals.
And then there's Brandi.
I can't get a straight answer from Brandi. When I ask her how to pronounce her last name, it's the same type of answer. It can be either way.
Mm-hmm.
It can.
Hey, Christopher Littlefield, who's been on the show and going to be on in a couple weeks, says they had initially planned on doing a jump at the end of season 1. So that would be the time crystal, I guess. Or they're just all jumping up in the air. We finished the season. Yay!
Maybe it was going to be like that 80s style where they all like jump up and freeze frame and then the credits scroll.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That was exactly what I was thinking.
I feel like going and watching Full House now.
Oh no.
Actually, no, more like
there's never an excuse to watch Full House.
No, 18. They were
okay. Yeah, 18 I fully endorse. Except they could never shoot anybody. I mean, honestly, they never actually hit anything when they were shooting. They were kind of like stormtroopers, but my theory is that they were never aiming to kill anyone. So there you go. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. Tangent. Stop me.
Okay, I'll stop you by asking you, did you enjoy your lunch today? Because I sure enjoyed that lunch scene.
Actually, I did enjoy my lunch. Thank you for asking. And I did really enjoy the lunch scene. It was really well done. And it loved seeing Jet Reno again, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one thing she said is like, I thought we got past this. You got past this weeks ago. And I thought, really? Why would you think that? He's still on the same ship and you're apart and he's just going to get past that in a few weeks.
No.
No.
And I love it when she says to Linus, or somebody says to Linus, are you ready? And he's like, I hatched ready.
I know. I loved that.
That was really good.
Oh, love Linus.
I want more Linus.
Love Linus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, that whole scene was really good. I really, that's one thing I've actually liked over the last few episodes is getting those quieter character moments where you see kind of the day-to-day stuff. And this was just wonderful to see them all sharing a meal and all that stuff. I mean, I'm the guy that loves like the poker games in TNG and stuff like that, right? So to see just a little hint of that in Discovery is really nice. Given that they have, such short seasons to get everything told, I'm glad that they still are able to find a little bit of time for that.
Yes, banter.
Mm-hmm.
Banter is good.
Yeah, it's good to have some of that. Maybe a little more often so we can get to know these characters more on a casual, personal relationship basis, like we've gotten to know Tilly. Oh my gosh, Tilly wasn't in this episode.
No.
Not even a little bit.
What is that?
Apparently, I'd heard she was filming something else or something and wasn't able to be there for the filming of this episode or something like that. So
could she have been filming the Short Trek's Runaway that we saw months ago? I wonder. I don't know.
At the same time as the Discovery episode?
Well, I'm just saying,
I don't think so.
I don't
Probably
know.
not. I feel like I heard it was something else. I don't know what though. This is all just hearsay, of course, but
yeah.
Somebody get on Twitter and ask Mary Wiseman.
We should ask her. We should have invited her to the show, or at least the chat. She could have told us in there. Maybe she's in the chat. Maybe she's pretending she's Amy Nelson. I don't know. Maybe Amy Nelson has always been Tilly, and I just haven't known these things.
Of course.
Speaking of Klingons, wait, am I implying Amy Nelson is a Klingon? Maybe. Speaking of Klingons, L'Rell, we got back to L'Rell again. I thought she's looking different. Like her skin color looks different from season 1. I know we saw her earlier this season, but I don't know. There's just something about her looks. I know she's got hair. She doesn't have the scar anymore, and she doesn't have the the 2 different eye colors either. I guess cosmetic surgery, since she's now an emperor.
It could be. I don't know. But yes, I noticed too that her skin color looked different, and I couldn't tell if it was just because of lighting.
Yeah.
Or if it was actually a different color, because there is a lot of blue light on Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be sure. Because there were things that I saw, like videos that she posted on Twitter when she was just lip syncing to a Demi Lovato song, where it looked like, the normal skin color that we've seen before, but
maybe it was the lighting or something.
It could have been lighting. So
speaking of her look, that red dress is really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. You think you'll cosplay in that, Dan?
I couldn't pull it off like Mary Chiefo can. So no, I wouldn't even dare to try.
No. And speaking of Runaway, what was that planet? Zahia?
Zahia, yeah.
Zahia. That's
Zahia?
on the view screen. Well, that comes later, people. Why are you talking about that in the chat? That comes in next week's episode. We're not going to talk about that now, right?
I missed that. Was that in the preview?
Yes.
We'll talk about it later. Sorry. I didn't see
in
that.
the background at one point.
Interesting.
On a screen. Anyway. Okay, let's go back to Reno again. I do like seeing her again. I'm just wondering what her role is going to be. Like, are we going to continue to see her? Is she going to stay on Discovery? Is she going to become part of a regular character or semi-regular character? I'd love to see her continue in the series. And, that was a great scene with Stamets, and then she goes to Colbert. She's handling the Stamets-Colbert situation, I think, a little better than Giorgio did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, she's not as she's just more. She's less flirty about it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She's more straightforward and matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're being a dummy. Knock it off. And I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked her role in this. And finding out about her wife, too, who was killed in the Klingon War. It's a great little bit of character building for her and learning more about her. I really want to see more of her, like, a lot.
I do, too. And what do you think, guys? Did she manufacture that hangnail?
Oh, of course.
As an excuse to go to sick bay? I'm thinking she totally did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, medical emergency.
Got a hangnail here.
And when he uses the spray on it, she's like, ow, what was that? Medical. What does he say? Medical attention? I can't remember the exact words he used. Medical treatment.
Yeah, that
was it.
Yeah.
Medical
She'll
treatment.
think twice to do that again.
It's like, medical treatment? Just loved his delivery. Loved it.
Yeah, there was good scenes like that in here in this episode. I like that. Yeah, I want to see more of that on another episode. They don't need to go and edit more into this one.
No.
So, okay, so what'd you think about then the stuff with Burnham and Spock? She's going to get on the shuttle to go after that Section 31 ship that didn't report in, and Spock, he comes with her, and she's just like, damn.
Yeah. Well, it was the most brother and sister we've seen from them since they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't want him to come along, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to keep you out of trouble. And he's not giving her a choice. And she's like, ugh. I mean, that is such a, you are driving me crazy. Would you please stop following me? I just want to go be with my friends type of frustration growl. I loved it.
It would have been great if she did that and turned around and said, don't you have something better to do? Like shave that beard off and put on a uniform?
My fiance, I'm an only child, so I don't have the experience. But my fiance, when we were watching that, she said, "Oh, he is such a little brother."
Just will not go away.
That's what Cybok always said about Spock too. Where is he anyway? Where's Cybok?
I don't care. Do not care.
Well,
sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I've been told I apologize too much, so no more apologies.
Yeah, no apologies on the show. You're not allowed to apologize. It's offensive if you apologize here.
Okay, got it.
So, Patrick in the chat says, crew ejected into space, ship just sitting there doing nothing. Could it be any more of a trap? What were your thoughts?
Agree. I'm just like, oh yeah, there's one body that happened to make it into an EV suit. Really? And that guy's Control.
And not only that, the one body happens to be someone who has a personal connection to Burnham and also happens to be the person who set everything in motion and had Control kill his crew. I'm really glad that he turned out to be Control, because if all of that actually was just coincidence, that would have been too much, I think. But my guard was already up with him for sure.
Oh yeah. I was suspicious from the start. I'm like, there's no way. He's got just the right amount of acting like he's scared to go back to the ship and, going along with the plan to make you think, well, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just like, nope, I'm just waiting for him to turn, and was not surprised when he did.
Which is a big... Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's a big step up from last week, too. Like, Control's learning how to be more human-like or more, convincing as a human.
Yeah.
To mimic human behavior, yes.
Yeah, because when he was Leland, he was more, robotic and just monotone and just straight, and this he's more like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so hungry, I could really go for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something. I mean, that didn't happen, but in my headcanon it did.
Which makes sense, because he made off with, 50 whatever % of the AI data last time. So,
yes.
He's learned from that. He's analyzed it.
Yeah, I want to talk about that, the AI data, or actually the sphere data, just a little more later. So I'm going to table that, okay? I've got a table here. And it's there. So don't let me forget to grab that. And by the way, yes, Patrick, he was also in the Saru book. Gant was. So we covered that on Literary Treks.
Take a drink. Oh, I didn't bring a drink.
Good water.
Oh, man.
Okay, so they get onto the Section 31 ship. And I guess, I thought that whole sequence, those scenes and stuff were just okay. But yeah, I did feel it was predictable. I knew that Gant was Control. I knew that, something funny was going to happen. Something's going to go wrong. And then his confrontation with Burnham, I think one thing, it just keeps confirming is this whole thing that there's some play that Burnham is a big deal when it comes to Control and everything that Control's fighting for or against, that she's this linchpin, that there's something about her. And I just want to know what that is, besides the fact that her mom was a Red Angel. There's something that Burnham does, future or whatever, that Control's afraid of. Or that he just needed her, as he said, to get back to Discovery to get to the data.
Yeah, but he could have done that with any member of the crew.
That's what I thought, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's very specifically got to be Michael. There's something there, I don't know what it is. It could be just the fact that she is extremely determined and she's such a rogue element because she always finds a way, What else can you say? She always finds a way. Mm-hmm. And Control can't quantify that, and it can't predict it. So I think maybe that may be part of it, but I don't have enough information to state specifically and concretely one way or the other. But that's just my feeling.
Mm-hmm. I feel like she still has a connection to her mother, which will still play a role. But like you guys, I'm thinking that's not all it is. There is something else that we haven't been shown or told yet that's going to be kind of a reveal. Because that's kind of how they roll,
Yep. Agree.
Okay, so Becky 2010 Able says, okay, I think you guys were right when you said that Burnham would probably get into something like the Red Angel suit. So, hey, look, somebody agrees with us from previous episode.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be Burnham that sends the 7 signals at some point, somehow.
It feels that way.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too.
I think that might be the big, moment,
Because even Spock is acknowledging that there's a connection between those signals and her. Not that he's suggesting those signals are coming from her, but he's, there's a connection there. So it would make sense that the connection is the fact, well, she's the one doing the signals. This is like, Paul Revere. She's got the candles lit in the church and she's saying the control is coming. The control is coming. I'm sorry, Dan. That's an American thing. Yeah.
Oh, it's ubiquitous enough. We know all about it.
Yeah, and didn't happen the way it did in stories.
One if let by land, two if by sea. I'm not even an American student, and I know that. Why do I know that?
Because you're in Canada. You guys like to learn what we're doing.
Despite our best efforts. Just kidding, just kidding. We love you.
Oh, I apologized again. Sorry, not sorry.
No, don't be sorry. So, Brandi, you must have worked with the Legends of Tomorrow because you obviously know what happened with Paul Revere, if you're saying some things are true and things aren't.
History is always written by storytellers, and they take the facts and dramatize them. Take the musical Hamilton, for instance, of course. We know that a lot of that is done for dramatic effect and is an interpretation of what the facts state. That's pretty much history as well.
Sounds like Star Trek series also.
Yes, because history is very rarely written by the people who were actually there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, just like in the Star Trek series, it's our future history, and so it's always up to interpretation, also known as headcanon. And I have my own headcanon for Paul Revere. So,
okay, that's fine.
There you go. I also had my own headcanon about Pike. So let's go ahead and talk about Pike. So, is this Pike's episode? Is this his thing? Anson Mount's big episode? It's what seems like when I talk to people online or read what they have to say. They really like this episode. Yeah.
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 You seem upset by that, Bruce, but okay.
Is this the elephant in the room?
This is the elephant in the room.
Okay, so what'd you think of all that? I'll just tell you real quick. I mean, I enjoyed him touching the time crystal and seeing his future, and all. I thought that was pretty cool. But there is a part of me that's just like, okay, but we know this stuff. I'm always looking like I don't want to keep revisiting things we already know in Trek and just adding a little more to it. It's fun, but at the same time, sometimes there's too much of it this season. That's how I feel. Yeah, those are my feelings. What are your feelings, Brandi?
Do you really want to know the answer to that question?
I want to know what everybody else in the chat wants to know. Did you cry?
Of course I cried.
There's never a time you don't cry on an episode.
Well, they're 12 for 12 for this season. What I had hoped was that they would touch on it and never make me see it. I didn't want to see it. And they made me look at it, and I didn't want to look at it. And it was just, it wasn't even just that tore me apart as much as after Pike has seen it. And now he has to make the choice to end up that way. But save the universe. Or to escape that fate. And go back empty-handed.
That's the best part to me, right there.
And that's the part where I'm just like, I need like all the tissues, please. Because it was just, when he's holding his Delta insignia and he's saying all these things, you believe in service and you believe in this, and and he's like, no, I'm not going to throw aside everything that has made me what I am and leave here empty-handed. I mean, I know those aren't the exact words.
Yeah,
but
you're saying he can't abandon who he is.
Yeah. But, yeah, he really sold that. I felt every single second of his fear and his I don't know, it's not really disappointment is not the word that I'm looking for, resignation towards the end. When he's like, okay, this is what I have to do, even though this is my future. And how do you do that? How does anyone find the strength to do that? Most of us would just run the other way, which is why most people who came to try and get their hands on a time crystal just left broken. without the time crystal. Because they saw the glimpse of that future and they went running the other way, which is what most of us would do. But not Pike.
And that's the thing, like, another person, it would be so easy. Like, if you're thinking of the time scale of everything, it's not for quite a while that this AI wipes out all the life in the galaxy. So as far as their life as it is now, with the exception of what they're dealing with immediately, they could probably live a perfectly fine life, and that's for future generations to deal with. Like, a lesser person could easily walk away from that and say, no, it's too much. You can't ask me to do that. But Pike, and I actually have the exact quote here because it was so amazing, when he's clutching his badge, like you said, and he says, "You're a Starfleet captain. You believe in service, sacrifice, compassion, and love. No, I'm not going to abandon the things that make me who I am because of a future that contains an ending that I hadn't foreseen for myself." And I just, like, from that moment, I spent the rest of the episode just like hand over face like that, because it was incredible. And he chose that. He made that choice. And that's just, like, if I were in that position, I don't know what I'd do. I can tell you what I'd probably do, and I don't like that about myself in this moment, because I don't think I could do that. And that was incredible.
It's a hard decision.
I agree. Give Anson Mount all the awards that there are, which is what Patrick says in the chat here. Absolutely agree. I mean, he made me feel things. Like, it's just, I couldn't believe it.
All of the things.
I just wonder if Pike, now that that's over, if he thinks, you know what, I'm told that if I take the crystal, I can't change the future. But as we've heard Spock say, the future is never written. I wonder if Pike believes that he still can change it. Or if that's a fate he can't avoid.
I think there may be a small part of him that feels like maybe, you know, I will escape that. But I think the overall, I can't find words right now. The overall mass of him is just like, we chose this and get ready, you know?
Yeah. And the important thing to come out of that is that he's willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good of all.
And I feel like even in the moment, even if we take what the Klingon said as not fact, and he can still avoid it, when he's in that position, he not only saw what happened to him, he saw himself saving the lives of those cadets. And I feel like there could be a moment someday where he's about to inspect a J-class starship, and he realizes this is the day, and he sees the faces of those cadets, and he's like, I can't make any other choice no matter what. And in that moment, he makes that choice again and again and again and again. And Beta Artemis says he is repeatedly making the choice every single day. And yeah, he can't make another choice. I don't think he could, being the person that he is.
Yeah. You know, it's almost, to me, like, if you see that future and you go into that training simulation, you're always going to say, is this that moment? Is this that time? You're walking around with that the rest of your life. I mean, this can change his character. I'm just curious to see how he continues to play the character going forward in these next 2 episodes. If there's something different about him, because he's carrying this horror around. He knows his fate, and he just doesn't know when it's coming. And if anybody who watches Discovery for the first time and hasn't seen the original series, it would be interesting when they see the menagerie and they go, oh my gosh, it's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know? So, and the radiation leak, did you notice how he puts his hand against the glass? Did that remind you of anything?
Yeah. This whole franchise has a thing with people on either side of the glass and emotional scenes.
Yes. Well, Dan, thank you for writing the lines for us. That helped. And I think it destroyed Brandi.
Sorry.
Again.
Did you watch the episode more than once, Brandi?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. And you?
Yes, I did.
Dan? Did you watch
I
it?
only saw it the one time so far, but
Yeah.
definite plans to sit down and immediately watch it again and start making videos about it. So
Yeah, I watched it last night, and then quickly this evening I snuck it in again without telling anybody where I was. Oh, I'm busy. I'm doing work.
Oh, there's one last thing I'm going to bring up, and I know Patrick Carlin said this in the chat, and it's something that occurred to me as well. It's again a Doctor Who thing, that there are certain events in the timeline that can never be changed, and they are known as a fixed point in time or time locked. And no matter what you do, you cannot change those fixed points in time. And sometimes it's a small thing. Sometimes it's an entire planet of Time Lords disappearing. So it's that there are those fixed points that can't be changed no matter what you do. And it may be one of those things. But again, it's not even about a time-locked event so much as it is about Pike is always going to put other people first. He's always going to save the lives of others wherever he can. That is the person he is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
and also it's Star Trek canon, so can't change.
Yeah, there's that too. So,
Yes, that is true. We can't. Well, that's what the writers are trying to say. Look, we can't change the canon. What comes in the future has to stay that way.
It's one of my favorite comments I saw online was like, I'm really invested in Discovery staying true to Star Trek canon, but I would be okay with them if they figured out a way for Pike to avoid that accident. That's how much people love this character and what Anson Mount's brought to it. So that's really cool.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
Dan, if you could touch a time crystal and be in that situation where you could see your future, but you have the choice afterwards, there's nothing where you're saving the universe or anything, would you take the crystal and go with your fate or go ahead and change your future? Would you want to see your future?
I wouldn't even touch it unless I needed that thing to save the entire damn universe. Then I'd like to think I could possibly step up and do that. But if there's nothing like that riding on it, I'm like, I don't want to know. Spoilers, people. Spoilers are never good.
I assume, Brandi, you feel the same?
absolutely feel the same way. I do not want to know what comes next. I've never been a spoilers type person. I'm never the person that reads the last page of a book first. I just, I want to believe that I have some kind of free agency, and I don't want knowing what's going to come coloring the actions that I make now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did touch a time crystal once, and I heard my own voice in the future say, "Welcome to Literary Treks, episode number 2547.
Oh, God. Was I still your co-host? Oh, God. Don't tell me.
Are you still alive?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I guess so.
Everyone take a drink, by the way.
Yes.
Well, that's when we start moving the show to daily. We catch up really quick to that.
How do you do that? You can't read a book every day.
This is when we're retired and we have nothing else to do.
I'm going to curl
that's
up in a
fair.
corner and cry.
Yep.
So, okay. So Amy in the chat reminded me to pick up the sphere data I have on the table that I put aside. So here's the thing. I'm a little confused, and this is great because I can talk to you guys about this, and I didn't have time to really think about it too much, but I thought we were taking the sphere data and putting it in the suit to go into the future, and I'm not really even 100% clear if all the data got in the suit or not. I don't think all of it did, but I thought...
None of it did.
Okay, so none of it did.
Zero of it went into the suit. It was diverted by Control.
Oh, see, I thought the suit was gathering it and Control at the same time. Like it was just
Nope.
repeating it. Okay, so
It
none
was
went
being
in the suit.
diverted. Spock even says it's being diverted.
Okay, so then, so they kept the data on the Discovery, but they can't seem to delete it.
No, they cannot delete it. It has protected itself.
Okay, so if it's protected itself, and the best situation, according to Burnham, is to blow up the ship, or, you know, they could do what they were planning to do with the suit, send the ship like maybe 900,000 years into the future. Hey, wait, there's a concept. You could make a short Treks out of that.
So
But-
here's my theory. They have a time crystal now, right?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnham needs a time crystal to power the suit, and she's 950 years in the future. How are they going to get it to her? They put it on Discovery, and Discovery sits there for, as Zora said in the Short Treks episode, almost 1,000 years. And that's I think she's going to get the time crystal from them there somehow.
So then...
Well, first they have to power it up.
Mm-hmm.
Which takes the energy of a supernova.
Oh, no, I think they're just... That's how they're going to get around it, is because in Short Treks, the Discovery just sat there for like 1,000 years. I think they're just going to leave it somewhere for her and get it to her the old-fashioned way.
But can they do that? Because how much power can they use from a time crystal that isn't charged up by a supernova to send an entire ship into the future?
I don't know. Stamets will come up with some. Or Reno.
They're not sending it into the future, though. It's just sitting there for 1,000 years.
Yeah, but if it's sitting there...
They can't do that.
Yeah, because
they can't,
Jeopardy...
Because Control will find it.
Yeah.
They're going to hide it somewhere, because we know from Calypso that Discovery did sit there for almost 1,000 years. Because Zora says we've been holding position here for almost 1,000 years.
Yeah, but we don't know when that 1,000 years started.
Nope, we don't. This, like I said, this is just a theory. I'm not saying I know for sure. This is what I think is going to happen. It's possible there could be a connection, but the thing is, the whole point is you can't have the sphere data in the current timeline.
Well,
because Control will find it.
Unless what Dan's saying, it's like maybe they somehow fake the destruction of Discovery, where Control thinks it's been destroyed and is gone, but it's actually been hidden someplace where Control or no one would ever find it. And that's where it sits.
You really think that Control hasn't thought of that?
I don't know.
Control claims it has seen every possible ending.
This is where I'm thinking somehow they're going to use this time crystal with Discovery's spore drive. And I don't know, but now, Dan, you say this whole thing about they say that the ship had been sitting there for 1,000 years. I was just thinking they would propel the ship 1,000 years with no return, and there's only one person that can do it, is Stamets, and we never see Stamets again. And Culber really is hurt by the loss of Stamets and wish that he would have taken the opportunity to be with him again. But now he's gone. You
can't keep doing that to these two.
No.
I'm going to throw my TV out the window if that happens.
Can I have it? I'll take your TV. That's just a theory. That's just one. But I don't think that's the direction they'll go. But especially since you said the ship's been there for 1,000 years.
That's the thing that I can't think around that, because I really want to watch Calypso again, but I'm pretty sure she says they've been holding position there for 1,000 years, waiting for the crew to return, is what she says. So I mean, I don't know. I don't have answers to all the little parts of it, but when they got the time crystal in this episode, that's where my brain went. I was like, oh, that's how they're going to get it to her. But yeah, I don't know. Beyond that, I have no idea.
Well, I don't know. I just personally, it's possible that Calypso is connected to this, and it's also possible that it has nothing to do with this.
That is also very possible.
So I can't say. There isn't enough concrete evidence one way or the other, so I am not taking a position on it.
Okay.
I also have no problem with being completely wrong about this.
Oh, I know the feeling. I'm always okay with being wrong. Yeah. I mean,
well, Dan's
I'll throw
used
out
to being
crazy
wrong,
theories.
So.
This is true.
Oh.
Hey, he's not wrong.
I am wrong. Dan's right. Well, wait, if he's always wrong, but I say he's right. Anyway.
I have to get Norman to coordinate.
Before we get to the preview of next week, I keep seeing this debate online recently and several blogs about it. Is Control the thing that creates the Borg?
No.
I don't think so. I
don't think so, and I don't hope so, and I hope not.
Yeah. I was starting to think maybe last week, but this week I'm like, no, it's too different.
That's interesting, because I've heard people say this week confirmed to them it is.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do you know why?
Why?
Because there was no organic matter there. He had been reconstructed by Control. He was no longer human. no longer organic, only had the appearance of such, which was why it blocked Spock's tricorder so that Spock couldn't tell what it actually was. It is not in any way organic.
Hear, hear. I don't want it to be connected to. If it is, then whatever. But no.
I really hope that they don't go there because I have had enough of the Borg.
Well, it gets back to my whole thing where, like, I feel like they're trying to connect everything to everything in Star Trek lore, in Star Trek canon to something. And I don't want it. It doesn't all have to be connected. You know, it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't.
Control made the Borg and Borg made V'ger and V'ger made Tuvok. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like,
V'ger made Tuvok?
I don't know.
So out of left field.
See, like, I could suss it out in my head that if they really wanted to go that way, I can see how they could get there from where they are if they really wanted to, but I don't think that they should. I don't think they need to. I think it's fine without it being the Borg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Maybe it's just the way.
I would also prefer that it not be.
Maybe they just want us to have these debates so they can laugh at us.
I honestly think that's it. Like something like that line, struggle is pointless, and the fact that that's the same green glow for the little nanites. I think those are all things to, like, you know, you've got a group of Trekkies, you just throw a little something into the pile and make them fight over it for a bit. I think they're having a bit of fun.
Yes.
Well,
that's
you know,
guess.
and I will say this, because actually the appearance of those nanites really reminded me, I wish I had nerd glasses to push up, of, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, the replicators on Stargate SG-1.
I had the exact same thought. I'm actually watching Stargate SG-1 with my fiance right now, and I was like, oh my God, it's the replicator. Oh, we're not there yet. Never mind.
Yes. Thank you. I'm not alone.
Oh, wow. I was thinking of the Mummy.
Oh, yeah, I can see
Oh,
that.
yeah, okay.
Oh, I love how. Oh, yes. SG-1. I thought the Mummy. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
But I haven't really watched SG-1, so.
Well, there you go. See, you have a lot of things that you haven't watched. You haven't watched
Oh.
Babylon 5. You haven't watched Stargate SG-1.
No. You know, if I wasn't doing this live show, I could be watching them.
I see how it is.
See, Bruce, I'll throw you a bone here. The one scene where Burnham was shooting and holes were appearing in him, I had the thought of when the Mummy is walking and they're shooting him.
There
the
you
Brendan
go.
Fraser version of the Mummy.
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yes.
Yeah. I got that vibe there. I can see where you get that.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that at all. I thought of the T-1000.
I've seen a lot of that online too, and
Yeah.
I definitely see that as well.
But in the meantime, Dan, apparently Live is looking for a new co-host. So I would like to extend an invitation to you. Because Bruce apparently needs to quit to go watch some shows.
Yes.
We'll
'cause I'm
talk.
gonna do a show.
After.
I'm going to do a show called Live from the SG-1. So,
Nice.
or Live from the Gate is actually what that would be called.
The Gate, Live from the Gate.
So, what was I going to say? I was just thinking of something and now I forget. I hate when that
I'm
happens.
sorry. Oh, see, I apologized again.
No, yeah, you can't do that. That's not right. Hey, you know that
Here's the
show they
thing.
do, the Ready Room or something, like they do the Facebook Live interviews and stuff? I just watched a little bit tonight where they're interviewing Anson Mount, and he was like somewhere in New York, so they were doing it by satellite because the host is in LA. But anyway, he had this blue background. He was looking around the studio talking about what it was like, and I was like, it looked like the Brady Bunch, you know, when they had the little squares and the blue background. I was really hoping he was going to say that, and he didn't.
Wow, you worked in another Brady
I
Bunch
did.
reference. I am so proud of you.
If I wasn't doing this live show right now, I'd be watching the Brady Bunch. I have all seasons on DVD.
I know you do, sweetie.
Oh, Brandi. Ugh. Hey,
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
oh, I know what I was going to say. This is I think this is a dorky thing. Okay. This is my dorky thing. I'm going to I now have a new feature. Bruce's dorky thing on this episode of Discovery. So 30 Section 1 ships show up, but one's missing because, so there's exactly 31 Section 31 ships. Really?
They don't quite say that, but they say like, oh, there's 30 ships. That's almost their whole fleet. And I had the same thought, like, oh, there's 31.
Yeah, but one's been, well, it hasn't been destroyed. So did that ship come back,
Nope.
or is it still on its way?
It's still
I think
on the
that's the 31st.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the 31st ship. And they sit around, they go, oh, we could use some more ships. No. We already got 31. We can't go over it because we're section 31. Could you imagine Leland saying that? No, we are section 31. 31 ships.
What do you think? This is section 32? Come on.
I have no idea what you just said because you froze on me.
You totally did.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Yes, you did, Dan.
Oh, I just said, what are we? Section 32? Come on, people. Jeez.
Here's another dorky thing, and I probably bothered nobody else, but when there's the flashback of, what happened when Ash is telling Michael, I was like, do we really need this? Because I pretty well remember what happened. It wasn't that long ago that we need a flashback. I just felt it was weird that they did a flashback. All he needed to do was tell her the story. We didn't need the images.
Well, we had another flashback, too, of Burnham and Gant on Shinji.
Yeah, well, that was because we haven't seen him since season 1.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
But flashing back to something that happened
yeah,
6 episodes ago, it's like, no, I remember that. Okay.
It's for us old people. We can't remember what we did last week.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if you want to just show it as a flashback, show it in the previously on. Don't show it during the show. Just have them talking.
Yeah.
You don't need to dramatize it with a flashback, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it didn't bother me, but yeah, you're right. They could have easily done that for sure on the beginning. Speaking of the beginning, what about the ending? So, coming next week. Wait, what's coming next week? Oh, yeah.
What? You can't remember?
Well, let's go back to what we said earlier where Dan's like, I didn't see that. Was that in there? Did I see that? Wait, what? The Zahia?
Yeah, because I did watch the preview trailer, but I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
I didn't notice until someone said it online and went back and saw it. It's over Pike's shoulder on the view screen. It says behind him. So, which is the planet from Runaway with Tilly. Yeah. That's it. Tilly's on Zahia. What is it? How's it pronounced?
Zahia.
I got it all wrong. Zahia.
That's cool.
That's where Tilly is on Zahia.
It would be really cool if we got to see Mihani Ika Halika Po again. Nailed it.
Wow. Done.
Well done. Gosh, I almost want to end it right there on the episode. Zahia.
I'm way prouder of that than I really should be.
Was there anything else in that preview for next week that stood out to you?
Oh, no. I didn't notice the
ship
Enterprise
around.
Oh, yeah. There was you could see it through the window, one of the viewer windows there on Discovery. You saw the Enterprise in the background.
Oh, was that the Enterprise? I didn't realize. Do we see the bridge maybe in the trailer?
I don't know. Did we see Pike in his original uniform when he's on
Look,
Enterprise?
I'm going to tell you right now, you can go back. It's recorded on a previous episode of this show somewhere at the beginning of the season. I'm like, I got to see that bridge. I'll be very disappointed if I don't see that bridge reimagined on this freaking show. And I'm going to see it, people. And I'm happy like all happy can be happy. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm all for it. And it looks like we're going to see number 1 again as well. Because I think we saw her sitting at Ops or the Con, or which I'm not sure which one. So, yeah, we're going to see a lot of things that we've been hoping to see.
Oh, I'm so excited. And the next episode is called Such Sweet Sorrow. So read into that what you will. It's not like we haven't gotten enough sorrow this season.
Ooh.
Yeah, but see, parting is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is this like Pike leaves and goes back to the Enterprise?
Wait, I'm going to tell you right now. Hold on. This is something I wanted to ask when we got to this part. We were just talking earlier about the Discovery, okay? Whether they hide the Discovery, whether they throw the Discovery into the future, whether they destroy, blow up the Discovery. The ship has abandoned Discovery. Will we get a different ship season 3 for this crew?
They say there's a big jaw-dropping change something at the end of the season. I feel like it's going to be even more fundamental than that, but I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, and Liam Smart has said something that I was wondering too. You see it in the chat?
They all go to the Enterprise? Is that...
Could the Enterprise be our ship in season 3 on Discovery?
I mean, that would be cool. That would be...
More Pike and more Spock. Right? No, I don't want that.
Those bridges can't be cheap.
Right.
You know, they built one.
Actually, I'm fairly certain that is the Discovery Bridge redress.
I mean, the view screen is pretty much the same, yeah.
Yeah.
But it can't be in some respects because we have been told that Ethan Peck and Anson Mount aren't coming back for season 3.
Have we?
That's true too, yeah. Could be misdirection though.
Could be, which I would be okay with that. If we're getting them back.
Again, all I can say is when Ethan Peck was questioned about it in an interview, all that he said was that he couldn't say. He neither confirmed nor denied.
And we will, of course, all remember that Benedict Cumberbatch is not playing Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness.
And he absolutely was not Doctor Strange. Absolutely wasn't cast as Doctor Strange. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had to fight that one. He had to deny that one, even though everybody's like, it's him. And then they finally announced it. We're like, yeah, we know.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm just going to say it. I mean, wouldn't it be great if the Discovery crew now serves on the Enterprise? So there's your captain. It's Pike, season 3. We have Spock. We have number 1. We have Burnham. We have Saru. They're all together on this ship for a season. That's my dream at this point.
That would be very cool.
I would love that.
And then they get a new Discovery ship at the end of season 3 that they...
The 1031A?
Yeah. No, I don't want no bloody A, B, C, or D.
Yes! That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
I just want a new registry number. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then why is it Star Trek Discovery?
Well, because they won't have Discovery for a season, but then they'll get another Discovery. It'll just be a different ship, different registry number, but they'll give it the name Discovery.
For season 3, the Discovery refers to the concept, not the ship. So
okay, There we go. They're
going out and exploring. They're discovering things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, to discover strange new worlds and new civilizations. To boldly go where no one has gone before?
Oh.
Maybe. They might do a bit of that.
Oh, my heart's beating.
I hope so. Or else you're dead.
I'm both thrilled and sad. Like 2 episodes left. I'm so excited to see them, and I want to see them now, but I don't want it to be over.
I don't want it to be over. And the day that the season finale drops is the day before FanX Salt Lake Comic Convention starts. And
do you still know or not know? I mean, do you know if you can do it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because our panel is going to be on Saturday.
Okay, good.
So yeah,
that's cool.
There's no problem with me. But however, I will not be doing it from my house because in order to maximize our time as efficiently as possible and also not have to deal with rush hour traffic, I am going to go to my office, my actual work office, which will be empty at that time. And I'm doing live from there because that is only a few miles away from the convention, whereas my home is 35 miles away from the convention.
Oh. So the last episode for this season of Live from the Edge, you're doing from your office.
I am.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
That'll be cool. You have to give us a tour.
No, I won't. It's not impressive.
Well, next week for Live from the Edge, will be doing the show from somewhere in Chicago as I'm at Star Wars Celebration.
Very cool.
And it's going to be a slightly shorter episode because after we do the live show, I have to hurry up and get the show ready for the podcast, and then I have tickets to a show. I have to bolt So I'm just
Oh, wow.
letting everybody know it won't be a short show. It'll just be a little shorter than usual because I have a hard stop.
Right.
You know?
In other words, we're going to keep it to an hour for once.
Absolutely. Oh, speaking of, hey, everybody in the chat, give us your rating on whatever scale you want for Through the Valley of Shadows, and we'll check those out. So in the meantime, Brandi, I'm going to ask you, how would you rate this episode?
Oh, well, I know what the actual number rating will be, but it's just what to choose for the, now that's morbid, but I'm going to go there. I am going to say it gets 10 out of 10 frozen floating bodies in space.
Oh my gosh. Wait, that means no one is alive.
No one's alive.
Oh, dear.
Wow. Okay, Dan, I want to see what you use for your rating and see if it matches what I'm planning to do.
Okay, well, I mean, my previous favorite episode of the season was New Eden. This one, I think, supplants it, so I have to give it 10 out of 10 hangnails, but they're happy hangnails because they bring Stamets and Culber back together.
I want to make finger puppets called Happy Hangnails.
I want that so much.
And like the little nails move when their mouths move, like blah, 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 blah. Oh, wow. Okay. I like that. No, that's not how I was going to rate. I was going to make, mine's not nearly as fun as that one. I like this episode, but I knew at the time when I was watching it, because I've had a rough 24 hours, and I was like, not in a mood. I mean, I'm definitely in a mood for Star Trek at all times, but I wasn't feeling my regular self. So it wasn't like I wasn't as energized watching as usual, but I know it's a really solid episode. And I got to see it again today, but I'm going to go ahead and give it 6 out of 7 red lights. Because we haven't seen the 6th one yet, but I don't know what that means.
we're still waiting on 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, and yeah, 47 alert. For next week, it's going to be the 4th of 7 signals. So,
oh,
so 47.
No, this was the 4th of 7 signals.
One, yeah.
Oh, this was sorry, the one on over Boreth was
yeah. I didn't even think about the 4-7. Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, what ratings do we have in the chat? So
there's so many.
There are like 7 out of 10 magnetic floors.
I like Liam Smart's 9 full Spock butts and a cheek out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I heard today people were telling me, get ready, Bruce, because there's going to be butt talk because Spock was in that suit again.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say anything.
That's the part I cried at.
Why? Because it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's just like,
yeah, you know. So 10 out of 10 time crystals. Ooh. 9 out of 10 edibles. 10 single beeps of 10. My goodness. 10s and 20. Wow, 20 out of 10. 7 out of 10, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Okay, we got some 7s out of 10s and 10s out of 10s seem to kind of be the average. Most popular ones. There's 9 out of 10, 9. Yep, yeah. Okay, now I'm starting to see the butt ratings in here. Yep. And Christopher Littlefield says we still need an episode called Spock's Butt. I would call that
at least a short trek.
I would call it more like Spock's Moon. Spock's moon over Vulcan. If Vulcan had a moon, it would
so
be
that would
Spock's.
The additional layers to canon of Spock telling Uhura, Miss Uhura, Spock or Vulcan has no moon. There'd be like added emotional layers to that one, remembering back to this episode.
Oh man.
I like it.
Spock's like, I can make a moon if you would like.
Oh, good grief.
Oh my. Okay, Dan, where can people find your moon online?
Hopefully nowhere. But you can also find me. You can find me on Literary Treks with you, Bruce, on the network. I'll take a drink. But you can also find me on Twitter. I'm at Kertrats. That's KERTRATS. You can find me on youtube.com/Kertrats Productions, where I do videos about Star Trek, mostly Discovery right now, of course. And you can also find me in the Babel Conference talking about Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. I like that. So, Brandi, where can people find you when you're not live from the edge?
You can find me in the Babel Conference. Oh, wow. Did I just slur that? The Babel Conference. The Babel Conference.
The Baby Conference.
The Baby Conference.
The Baby Conference, which is also known as the Perpetual Infant.
Oh, man, I love doing this show with you guys. You guys are great.
And you can find Brandi on...
You can find me on Twitter at Brandi White 12 or Dark Gaming Nose Rockets. You can also find me. You can also find me on. Oh boy!
Oh, take a deep breath, like I did.
Those muscles got to work out. Those stomach muscles.
Oh my gosh!
I think Chris Littlefield was right. Everyone is high. Yep.
Okay, you can find me on the Dark Corner podcast with my husband Dave. We talk about nerd stuff and there are swears, and that's at darkcornerpodcast.com. I think it's .com.
Just Google it. You'll find it.
Maybe .net. I can't remember. And you will occasionally find me on the Twilight Zone podcast with my friend Tom Elliott talking about the new series of the Twilight Zone. In fact, we're recording an episode tomorrow as of the time of this recording, so that's really fun. And you can find that at twilightzonepodcast.something. .net, maybe? Just search for the Twilight Zone podcast with Tom Elliott. You will find it. But it's really awesome. And if you like Twilight Zone in any way, shape, or form, you should be listening to that podcast anyway, because it goes through the original series one episode at a time, and we discuss every single one. Not me personally, but we as a collective group. So those are all the places you can find me. Except maybe the loony bin after this episode.
Your husband says it's .net, by the way.
Okay.
Is he sure about that?
Yeah, he just looked it up for me, like a friend.
I just looked up, it says darkcornerpodcast.com, and I'm on there right now.
Oh, no.
And I'm also looking at twilightzonepodcast.com.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know. It might also be .net, too. Who knows?
Well, you can kind of tell, though, because, you can see the podcasts.
Oh.
On there.
Yes. Okay. Goodness, yes. And you can find me on Twitter at Admiral_Rex, and you can find me doing Literary Treks with Dan, and you can find me doing Star Wars Report during Star Wars Celebration. There you go. And I'm always in the baby conference. So
let me just swallow that so it doesn't end up everywhere.
Oh no. We still have to get through the whole ending spiel that you have to read.
Well, and Christopher Hill Whitten reminded me of Stormfart. Damn you.
Oh my goodness. Oh, take a deep breath. Yes.
I've got the vapors. I can't get any oxygen to my brain because I can't breathe.
Woo. Wow.
What?
Should I just do the closing for you? Yeah, okay, chat. Okay, I've got two things for you. Okay, what voice should Brandi do the closing in? what voice or what character or something like that. And also, hey, you guys are getting to know each other in the chat. Maybe you know each other offline too. I don't know. But, go ahead and post where people can find you on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, whatever. Put that in there too. So, no, Liam, I'm not going to do Brandi because if I do that, that's going to be for the last episode because I don't know if she'll speak to me again.
Are you kidding? We're solid, bro.
I can do an imitation of you slightly.
Slightly.
I can
It's true.
There, that's my imitation of you.
I did. Richard Hart does say do control as reanimated body after they've discovered its control. I can't do that because it requires special effects that I cannot do on a live show.
Okay. Well, then there's baby voice. I see that in here. I see lots of baby going on. That's easy.
Apparently, that's what we're going to do.
Do a perpetual infant.
Perpetual infant. Well, infants can't talk. Rule, so
they babble.
Unless you want to just hear babbling with no consonants or
I
vowels.
always like the babbling of Bam Bam on the Flintstones. Here we go. Bam Bam. Oh, I used to think that was hilarious.
It is hilarious, but it's not very effective for this.
Well, yeah, she can't go like, be sure to check out our Discovery.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Do it out. Do it, baby. Come on, baby.
Be sure to check out our Discovery podcast coverage throughout the week. Right from the Edge airs on Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. A commentary will be available as Tracks from the Edge with discussion feedback on Postcards from the Edge. You can catch full analysis on the Edge main show and join us for Notes from the Edge with our own questions for links between Discovery and the broader franchise. You will find all of these in the main feed for the Edge and in the Check FM Master feed. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Discovery, and the best place to do that is the Babel Conference or the Search group on Facebook, where Amy Nelson will collect your feedback for Postcards from the Edge. You could also find us on Twitter at TrekFM, or send us an email using the contact form on our website at trek.fm/contact. Choose to send to a show and choose the Edge. We'd also like to thank our associate producers. I'm tired. Where's my bottle? Okay, associate producers Norman Seelow, Dodie Robinson, Thomas and Paleo, Lisa Slackshaw, Mercer, Richard Rutledge, James Mulcher, Cordelia Reuter, Ryan Miller, Christopher Seal, and Brian Maloche. If you'd like to help us keep all our shows good and you'll become an AP, visit patreon.com/checkfm for more details.
She's asleep. Don't wake her. Don't wake her. I want to get a good night's sleep tonight. I don't want her waking up and screaming and... Oh, no.
Oh, no. Bruce, you woke the baby.
Oh, rock. Goodbye, Brandi on the treetop. When Spock's wind blows, the cradle will rock.
Hey, I'm sorry. Brian Maloche's name was said wrong because I was a baby. Didn't say anybody's name right.
Okay. Wow. That being said, Dan, thank you for joining us on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me. I'm always happy to come on the show and so excited to do this with you guys. So thank you.
Yes. Well, I know it's a little more serious than what you're used to, but I'm sure you enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm sad this is the last one, at least for a while. So
yeah, that you'll be on. Yeah. But in the future, I'm sure something. And of course, there's always literary tracks that people can listen to. And we have episodes coming out soon with, Keith DeCandido and Dayton Ward and all these other authors. It's always fun. Yeah. Check it out. Well, thank you for joining us. And Brandi, as always, I always enjoy spending my Friday evenings with you. live.
And I feel the same way. You are just so much fun to podcast with, buddy.
Oh, well, thank you. Same to you. And to everyone, thank you for joining us in the chat. Thank you for listening. And until next time, live long and prosper.
And keep calm and disco on.